I'm gonna do a quick intro. Hey guys, this is Alice from Scrap Happy, and we are here for Scrapbook Live, and we are going to be scrapbooking together. Super fun time to hang out, and I'm going to be using some paper. Actually, we just had a poll, and everybody voted, and they chose this paper pack, which is from Wild Whisper. It is from Nicole Wright Design. It's kind of like a collab between them, and she made all of these mixed media papers, and I'm going to have the benefit of playing with them. So welcome, welcome. We've got some new people in the house. If you're here for the first time, then there are different ways that you can hop in and play. There is a chat box that you can open up. You can be live on camera. At some point, we will do some show and tell just in case you are playing and hanging out. And while you're here, if you want to talk and say something, go ahead and take your mute off. You can turn your mute off, and then we can hear you and you can talk and we can bring you up on screen. And other than that, I'll just get you to keep your mute on so that we don't have the background noises. Perfect. So a little background story. Last year, my husband bought us an RV, and we have had the best time hanging out in our RV, and it has been so much fun. This year, we don't have a lot of options on places that we can travel to yet. Things are opening up a little bit, and we have but what we do have in our backyard is a little pond, and this year we had some ducklings. Last year we also had ducklings that had hatched here. We had about 9, and then there was 7, and then there was 4, and then there was 2, and then we had no more ducklings. And it was kind of, it's sad. It's nature. We have foxes in the area, so it's not the end of the world. But what we decided to do this year was we built them a little platform that we could anchor in the middle of the pond so that they would have a safe place to hang out. So I have a couple of pictures printed of myself and my husband when we launched the little platform. It's pretty crude. We didn't do any kind of fancy carpentry, but it's a little floating platform for them to hang out on. Hi, Wino. And the top of it has a little bit of a wire over the top so they can't get picked off from up top, like a hawk can't swoop in and grab them. So that is the little platform. And then we took some great pictures of the ducks sitting on the little platform, and it's so cute. We actually put our lawn chairs right down by the water's edge now. We ate supper down there yesterday and just sat there watching them eating, and we were able to watch them. Like on the one side there's like a little ramp that they can climb up to get onto the platform. Like I know they could probably just jump, but they actually all used the ramp. It was totally adorable. So here's some pictures of the duck. The mama duck is sitting over here in the water, but the babies are all huddled up there. They're 7 this year, and they're a week old, and they're still 7. So we're pretty excited about that. And this was a picture of our feet. So these are the pictures that I have to use. Just hanging out by the water's edge, just watching the ducks. The water right now looks hilariously horrible. Hilarious in the way that the poplar trees are releasing all of their seeds right now. So the air is just filled with fluff. Jacqueline, do you have it really bad at your place too? Like, yeah, no, like not so bad. But here,
but I cut down my poplar tree because it was gonna die. But
yeah, we have so many poplar trees in the area, and they honestly, it looks like snow sometimes, like several times. It has looked like snow. There has been so much poplar fluff. So the seeds are just tiny. For big trees, they make tiny little seeds, and it is horrible. Heather says it's so bad for us as well. Yeah, it's quite the thing. So here we go. I'm going to show, I'll go back and forth a couple times probably between the camera views, but I will show you the paper that is in this pack. If you are unfamiliar with Wild Whisper, they are a company out of Calgary, Alberta. Last summer when we had their Scrap Happy reunion, we were down in Calgary, and we were able to have the Wild Whisper actually come to us, and we did some class stuff, and we got to do a little shopping spree, and that was super fun. Yeah, so really excited to be able to play with products from companies that that I really love. So that was both of my options today, both companies that I really love. So I'm going to switch this and I'll show you these papers. Okay, so we really gotta do a little white balance here. And this is the paper pack. Um, so there are 12 sheets that are double-sided, and it says there is one bonus design in here. So I was like, ooh, that's always fun. So this is one of the double packs. So they have 12 sheets, and a single pack just have 6. And here we go. You can see like right on the back of this, I'm assuming that's our bonus design right there. And like, look at the fun. Like, so it's like mixed media paper for people that don't want to get their fingers dirty. That's what I kind of thought when I saw this paper. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. It's like done for you. Claire says, hello, it's Saturday morning in Western Australia. That's honestly, Claire, thinking of my gals down under. I was thinking of you when I booked times, because most of them happen maybe not at your best time, but doing them on Friday night for us, Saturday morning for you. I thought, well, you actually get the morning spot this time. But look how pretty these papers are. And I thought one of them will probably be something that would go really well with little ducks, right? And so we got some really fun papers. Like, ooh, see this with my little duck stuff would be great, right? That's a good option. I'm going to tuck that one down a little bit because that's a good option. Normally I'm drawn to the super bright colors, but there's, oh yeah, Diane says it's very nice, such good variety. And oh, like look at the little drips here. Now if you put those and those are like dripping down onto your page, how pretty is that? Actually, that reminds me of a page that Misty did as a sample page for one of our load layouts. Actually, she had drips going down and up. She had to do something that was like unexpected on the page. So she had drips that like dripped down, and she had drips that dripped up on her page, and it had that funny effect to it. Look at the cool, like these are painted, but like cool, like looking feather effect. Oh, and awesome. And so then here we can see like the duplicate patterns in the packet. So these are the papers that I pulled out to play with for today. Super nice. I do have feathers on here, and so that is quite tantalizing as well to play with feathers. So, you know, it is ducks, right? Oh my gosh. So just for fun, here, what I should do is I should open a window. I have to show you this. I don't have a picture, otherwise I would just show you a picture. But my husband we're kind of becoming bird watchers, right? Like limited options on activities. And so we're trying new things. And one thing that we saw was an American coot, and it's a kind of bird. It looks a bit like a small duck. They're a little bit different, but I have to show you their babies just for a second because they're the funniest things you've ever seen. Like seriously. Here we go. So here is a picture of an American coot chick. Like they are bright orange and fluffy looking little things. And we actually saw some of these in person when we had gone out to the lake and parked by the lake with the RV, and we were just spying out the window. And so the moms and the dads, I guess, are black with this big white beak. They don't really have any color on them. They're super boring looking, but like look at those crazy looking chicks. They're hilarious, and their beaks are kind of all reddish orange, like really orange, and they call that ornamentation. So we learn something new every day. And maybe somebody knows, yeah, it is a coot. They are cute. Oh my God, Diane. Yeah, there's hilarious looking birds. So I thought those are really funny. But if you look, like the foot of the coot, like they have like their feet have like these really long kind of fingers. They're not really webbed, but they're each one almost looks like they're weirdly webbed or fuzzy or something, like really weird looking. So interesting stuff anyways. So that's the fun things that we can discover while we are not doing our regular activities, right? Okay, so I really like both of these papers, which leaves me in a bit of a quandary. Like, what do I want to do? I think I really want to use this paper. I really like the look of it. Oh, I like the look of that side too. I really like the look of these feathers. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my pictures, kind of coming up with kind of like a little cluster of pictures. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out. I know I don't like fussy cutting. It's the F word of scrapbooking, but I'm going to do it. I'll cut them out and I'm going to tuck them in to kind of create like a little base to build my little cluster off of it. So it's hard because I don't want to cut this paper. I want to use it, but thankfully I have two pieces, so I'll be able to revisit it. But yeah, do you guys have a hard time like when you have like a beautiful piece of paper and you're just like, but it's really beautiful, both sides are beautiful, I could just use it the way it is. How dare I cut it? But I'm gonna cut it. So if you don't know Nicole Wright, she is actually a designer that is also out of Calgary, and she does beautiful mixed media. And so I'm going to encourage you to check out her site, to check out the Wild Whisper site. And I just love it when I see like great people coming together for stuff like that. And that's exactly what they did to create this collection. I'm going to guess, Jacqueline, that you possibly have this collection. Did you get the Nicole Wright paper?
It's one of the few that I don't have because I kind of cut myself off. It was like, you can't own every Wild Whisper collection.
It's like, I can't have it all. I almost have it all, but I can't have it all.
I've almost started it a couple of times, Alice.
Heather's almost got it. I know. When I saw, because I actually saw something on her social media that she was getting to do this collab, and she was so excited. She was like, oh, I have so many ideas. And yeah, I was just like watching for it after that. When it came out, I'm like, I'm going to need that for sure, because I love the look of mixed media, but sometimes waiting for everything to dry, and like I have plenty of paints and inks and all the fun stuff, and I feel that generally I'm happy with the results that I create. But I'm quite happy and content with letting an artist do the hard work, and then I'll just kind of swoop in and take advantage of that too. Okay. Claire says, do you think those chicks are so bright so that predators might think they're poisonous? I don't know, because I can't think of like, so like they would have like foxes, coyotes, like maybe hawks or something like that as predators, but like the number of predators that they would have, I just don't know, like especially around here. I guess like this isn't the only place they live, like because we don't have like snakes here that would be really a problem. I guess maybe, I don't know, I think they're too big for even a garter snake to eat, so like I just don't think that they would have like a lot of predators that might be a problem for them here. But I guess this isn't, they are called the American coot, so maybe. Maybe I'm dismissing that out of hand. But it did say in the article, because once you start learning about birds, you kind of go deep, right? It did say that the parents prefer them, and they don't actually have any kind of other like physical advantage other than the fact that they have this bright shininess, kind of like the bright feathers to them, but the parents choose them. And so they select for those babies that have that, which I thought was kind of interesting because yeah, it's maybe not like the you want like the best babies, but it was also kind of weird because the coots apparently have they lay their eggs and they actually start hatching them before they finish laying them all. So they'll actually have like sequential hatching, which is kind of unusual for birds. Normally birds like lay a bunch of their eggs and then they start hatching them all at one time. And once they start laying on them, they're not laying more eggs. So that was also interesting. Yep. So just in case you were wondering how far down that rabbit hole I've been. But these babies that we have on our pond are not coots. They are a common golden eye. And they're not as interesting looking as that coot chick, but they're pretty cute. I was just so happy to have ducks because I had kind of half considered hatching some ducks or maybe getting some baby ducks. I really like the marvelous. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I know. And it kind of just looks like a little mucky mess of beautifulness, like that you almost have like left behind, but I know she did it on purpose. Like, oh, it's so pretty. I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about, but yeah, so nice. So I'd love to know, what is everybody else working on tonight? Doing my ducks. Are you working on another project? Are you getting excited because there's another load like barely 2 weeks away from right now? Claire says we have a fake owl in our garden to deter ducks because they poop in our pool. Yeah, I would do that. I would want to keep them out of my pool. Waterfowl are not tidy animals, and that was part of the reason I wouldn't want to keep ducks, because if we had like domestic ducks and then I had to keep them like through the winter, it gets really cold and it really gets freezing around here, and that is not fun. Oh my gosh, Kelly says the one paper looks like 23andMe DNA kit. Like one of these ones? Is that the one? I think that one looks like it's like alcohol inks. I think like that's what I'm guessing it would be, is alcohol inks. And then the backside has like this big collage of it. It's so pretty. She got no, not that one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know which. I'll have to look more closely at the 23andMe ads next time. Yeah. Yeah. Sandy said duck poop in the pool is the worst. Yeah. Yeah. Animals. We can really enjoy them until they mess with our like nice, clean, fun spaces. Nothing like going to the beach. We went the one year and it was just covered in duck turd. Like it was so bad. It was just so bad. Ah, animals. Yes. But our chickens are doing good. So that's been good. I actually had to get rid of a mean bully chicken. I seriously didn't know what to do. It was like we were either going to butcher it and have it for dinner, or it was going to go back to the farm, because it was purposefully being just mean. Like chickens have a pecking order, and that's one thing. But this was just mean. And, you know, I couldn't have her just picking on my chickens all randomly like that. She was making them really nervous, and nervous chickens don't lay eggs. So she went back to the farm, and we actually brought back a rather henpecked looking chicken. So she looks terrible right now, but she's pretty sweet, and she has been a good egg layer already. So she's already off to a good start. But yeah. My other good news was that my husband came home the other day, and he had my next 2 kits for my crochet, because that has been my other quarantine thing that kind of came out of nowhere. I ordered a kit and started learning how to crochet, and I've been waiting and waiting on my next kit to arrive. I made my first 3 squares, and my next kit needed to come so I could make my next 3 squares. Well, turns out I got kit 2 and 3 at the same time. So now I have 6 squares to make, so I need to get back to work. There. Okay, so this looks good. And I think I'll kind of have them something like this and create like a little collage sheet of the photos in there, because I've got slightly different sizes in all the photos. And then I'll dig around here. I thought I saw some navy letters. That might be good. Those might be fine. And we'll see what else I got for other little embellishments and stuff. I have plenty. It's just, you know, what else is going to work. Plus I have this cutoff strip. I'll keep that with everything. And there are little random bits of color just in case I need a little dash of it. So I'm not going to toss that all away yet. And Vicky says, yay, I made it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it. I almost didn't make it either. It was like, I start the thing up and then it stops. I'm like, I even did the right thing first and it didn't help. Then what do you do? Okay. Okay, so I'm undecided. This side or this side? Well, I think I like this one. Well, I like that one too, but I think this one. Yes, we have been talking about ducks and not ducks. I guess we've been talking about coots, which are not ducks. And we've been talking about different activities that we've kind of picked up. For me, it's been gardening, chickens, crochet, kind of weird. Okay, so did anybody really go deep on the baking? I'm dying to know. Were you one of the people that were like, needed to do the baking? Libby's like, nope, not me. She's like shaking her head. I baked a little bit of banana bread, mostly because we had some bananas that had gone a little past prime and I made them. But yeah, I just didn't dive into the whole baking part of it. I saw people making like sourdough and all these different things. And yeah, I didn't hop on board that part. That was like the one thing that I didn't do. Karen asks, when is the mini load? So I should have registration. It's mostly set up right now, but I just need to double check it because I want to make sure it's actually working right. But registration will open for sure sometime over the weekend. I will send out an email about it. Our theme for this one is Scrap the Rainbow. It's going to be inspired by a whole rainbow of color. I should do this like here since I'm like talking to you. So we're doing Scrap the Rainbow. It's like inspired by the whole rainbow of color. We're bringing Roy G. Biv to the limelight. It's going to be adventure in Technicolor and all the bright and shinies, which is all the wonderful colors. So that is going to be our inspiration for this mini load. Plus, it's kind of perfect because one of the biggest things that I saw in design packs this year was rainbows as embellishments. So I'm guessing that, you know, if you're like me and you've picked up a couple or 10 scrapbook supplies along the way, then you might have a few rainbows in your stash, or you want to create a few rainbows from your stash. And so this might be a really good opportunity to put some of those onto your scrapbook pages. Jacqueline says she made a lot of cookies. Frances wasn't in on the baking, and Kathy said cinnamon raisin. Oh, she was making bread about every 3 days. Oh my gosh. And Vicky's like, that's a no. Love it. And Joy said, I made bread until I couldn't find yeast at the store. Yeah, that was a real thing. We went from toilet paper shortages to yeast shortages in a matter of weeks. And Libby says no baking, but she did some cooking with Epicure, mostly scrapbooking and some mixed media. Guys, if you don't know Epicure stuff, it is so good. So good. They have like spices and food mixes and just everything. And yeah, I was introduced to them through their dip mixes, and those are amazing. But then it's like, and then, and then, and then, and then. And so you see all the good things. And yeah, so Epicure is pretty great. Dion says, I couldn't find flour for quite some time in Victoria. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like everybody was like, hey, we can bake bread. I'm at home. I'll bake some bread. And Claire said she had no staying at home for her. And so that meant no baking or crafting. That's like a tragedy. But you had work, so that's a good thing. So working was a good thing. Okay, so I'm gonna trim up my photos and we'll see if we can put those together. So although I don't have a kit that I'm using here today, we are still going to have a draw. So don't let me forget, around the top of the hour-ish is usually when I do the draw. Sometimes I'm like finishing a page and sometimes I'm not, but that's generally when we'll take a short little break and do a draw, and we will be drawing for a $25 gift certificate for scrapbook.com so that somebody can have a little shopping spree, and maybe you'll be picking up some fun scrapbook papers that maybe you've been eyeing up or something. And if it's a gift certificate, that totally, it doesn't count if you're on a spending freeze, right? Like gift certificate, you gotta spend it. I know there's so many people doing spending freeze. I'm like, I'm a spending freeze. I'm like, there's a spending spree? What? I kind of went in the opposite direction, but that meant that I have super good things to play with. Yeah, Claire says she's grateful for having her job. Yeah. So that is good. Yeah, I've been pretty excited about the whole world of scrapbooking lately. It's been rather fun. Lots of things happening. I have our instructor lined up for our Scrap Smarter for July because we didn't actually have one in June. So I was like, oh, make sure we don't miss that. So that's all lined up. And sometimes it's really funny. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story behind that, because sometimes worlds just collide and you just have no idea. Oh, hold on a second. Joyce says, hi, Kat. Angel and Mike just walked to the beach for the sunset. Oh my gosh, that sounds really nice. Karen says she made tons of zucchini and banana bread, and she started a sourdough starter, but she killed it. And Kathy confesses, she says, me too, spending spree. And she killed her starter too. It happens, right? Like, I don't think we're all Amish, right? Like, so we're not the experts maybe in sourdough. It happens. Okay, so my story of small world, I'll put this back on and I'll fiddle around with things as we do this. That's not what I'm trying to do. Here we go. Okay, so grab some letters. So small worlds kind of colliding and coming together because like it's just hilarious. So I'm talking with my friend April, and she said, "Oh, I was thinking of applying for design teams." And then we start talking about that, and then she tells me about a couple of companies that she's been really excited by seeing their products lately. And she's talking to me about one company, and the company is called the inkystamper.com. So Inky Stamper. And if anybody follows her, please let me know. I'd love to hear. Because I wasn't familiar with her yet. However, after talking with April, the next day I hopped on a business call for people that are part of the AFCI. That's the Association for Creative Industries, which is the organization that actually runs Creativation. And we all know that I love going to Creativation, filming the videos. And so I was kind of just checking in to see what other business people were doing, maybe what the word was about what might be happening come January and stuff like that. I didn't get all that, but what I did, they did have these breakout rooms. And when we came back from our little breakout rooms to kind of just talk about business things, it was interesting because we everybody was kind of sharing the takeaways from their breakout room. And then I end up hearing about this one gal, and turns out she's the Inky Stamper, and she's been doing like these live things. And it was just so funny because I literally learned about her about 12 hours before I met her on this live thing that was hosted through AFCI. And it was just like all these worlds kind of coming together and meeting all in one place. And so I messaged her, and then afterwards we ended up on the phone and chatting, and it was amazing. So she is going to be our Scrap Smarter instructor for July. So I'm really excited about that. So you guys heard first. And yeah, like so fun. And her stamp sets are awesome. She even has a chicken stamp set, guys, like even a chicken one. Not sure if I like this down here or if I want to put this up here. I think I like that better. And so, yeah, small worlds, everything kind of comes together, and it was just, yeah, it was just meant to be, right? So I loved that. Okay, I'm gonna stick the stuff down. So have you had something like this kind of serendipitous meeting happen before? Like it was just so funny, like that I literally just learned about her stuff. I'd been on her website the night before looking at her stamps and stuff while talking with April, and then there she was the next day. Have you had a situation like that? And like, yeah, coincidence? I think not. I don't know. Maybe, but it was sure funny. And okay. I think I want to bend these edges up just a little to make them look more like a feather on this side. Right, if I bend them up. Perfect. Marcia says, I was scrapbooking with my 6-year-old grandson and my 4-year-old granddaughter this past week. Quite an adventure. Throw all thoughts of design principles out the window. But it's a great way to use up lots of old stickers and die cuts, and they had a blast. Oh, Karen says she can't see the video. Hold on. Oh, you should be seeing my screen, I think, is what you should be seeing, Karen. This is, if you're seeing the rainbow feathers, is that what everybody is seeing? I thought I was doing this right. I could be doing it wrong. This happens sometimes. Yes. Okay. So I'll come back to you for a second. So I'm here. I am here, but oh, she was seeing black. Oh, you might just need to pop out and come back in. Sometimes that can happen, but I think that I am actually here. So I think that's what everybody is saying. Jacqueline says she sees the feathers, or she did. Yep. So I'll go back to the other screen. And yeah, so just pop out and come back in. Just like hit the refresh, or there's not like a refresh on this thing, which I wish there was, but you can just go out and come in. Libby says she was watching while the hubby went fishing. He caught one for my breakfast. Oh, well, there you go. He did a good job. My 18-year-old son used an entire bottle of Nuvo drops to make sand on a box that he painted for his girlfriend's anniversary present. Did I mention all of the bottle? It stuck really good, I'm sure. It was probably really pretty. Like, the fact that he, found such good supplies meant that, good taste, right? That's awesome. That's hilarious. Yeah, I quickly taught my kids that my supplies were my supplies, and I had a separate area for craft drawer. Like, this is mine. Apparently, while we tell our kids to sharing my stuff, that's a different story. Like, yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is just so pretty. Oh my goodness. So happy with this. Yeah. Marcia says, Cave. I don't know who this is. She says, she loves what Marcia said. She says, many years before I become a grandma. But that's okay. I hope I still have a few years before I'm a grandma, but on the other hand, my kids are 19 and 21, so who knows? Oh. So out of crafty things that, okay, so generally when you're a crafty person, people think, oh, you're crafty. You do all things crafty. So I'd love to know what kinds of things like people expect you to be able to be crafty with, but then you're like, no. Because for me, painting a room is not my kind of craftiness. Like, I absolutely like hate doing like painting around a house. Like painting on a scrapbook page, yeah, that's super fun. Painting in a house, nope. There's like people that like to do that, right? Not me. Yeah. So that is one. Let's see. Oh, Karen says I have a craft drawer for my granddaughters. They love stickles. Yeah. Yeah. And Marcia says, fortunately, there's a Tuesday morning store very near them, and they had Chamel's collection with lots of mermaid papers and stickers. Perfect for my granddaughter. I had to convince her to also put photos on the paper along with the stickers. It's like, oh, pictures too? No, we've got mermaids. We're fine. I love that Chamel collection. Actually, I have used that with my nieces here, and they thought those were great. And I was like, it was actually tough because I actually had a hard time parting with them to share. Like, I'm like, oh man, I'm so bad. I'm like the spoiled little kid. It's like, these are my toys. Joyce says that she's a great great grandma. Bragger. And Deborah Gardner, she says paint. Yeah, paint. Claire says drawing. Kathy says sewing is not my thing. And Joyce says Kathy made me a grandma at 37. 37 is very respectable. It's totally good. Totally good. Marcia says, I have a while for that, Joyce. Yeah. And Margie, you're a very young grandma. And yeah, the stickles are a thing. They're just like, they're awesome. Everybody likes stickles. Karen says, no to painting a room. And even though I quilt, I do not mend clothes. See, that is a different thing, right? Like, it's like this kind of sewing, but not that. Kathy says and you wouldn't change that for anything. That's like super sweet. I love having like mom and daughter in here. That's like awesome. Francis says, this is how I feel about quilting and sewing. I will do it on a page, but not anywhere else. Yeah, grandma at 37. Yeah, there's a little shock there. Joyce says, I have 15 great grands and 1 great great. So this is awesome. I got fired from painting when I painted a closet in our first home 2 months before I was married 27 years ago. Well, that's the way to do it, right? You get fired from the job. I'm just like so bad at it, and then it's like never your job again. He still married me. There you go. Yeah, love it. Yeah, so I actually my son had one of his friends paint a room in his house. Actually, she painted a wall. She did a galaxy wall in his bedroom, and it is amazingly good. Like, it is so good. And I know like her attention to detail is amazing, and so he said that maybe she would be interested in painting, and I'm like, cool, let's get a hold of her. Because the room is actually mostly prepped for the paint. It just needs to be done. I'm not doing it. So I finally got a hold of her, and she's going to come probably next week. And I'm finally going to have that spare room painted. So I'm pretty thrilled about that. Yeah. Okay. Francis says, I don't mind painting walls. I just painted my craft room. I love it. That sounds nice. You know, there's a big payoff. It's terrible because I think I bought like all the new stuff for this room probably 2 years ago. And then my son was going to paint the room for me last year. And then that didn't happen. He prepped the room, so it's prepped. And then it's just been sitting there vacant. It was his old bedroom, so we didn't quite need it. I do have an actual guest bedroom downstairs, but now we'll have his old room. Which just means that when this COVID stuff is all done, I'm going to have more room for hosting my friends. Hint, hint, friends, come on over. Just saying. So yeah. So I don't think I'm going to do anything too mind-blowing on here. I'm not doing anything like ultra fancy or exciting, but I like the effect and I'll be really happy. I do want to kind of use this page to share some stories. So I'm going to leave this whole section like in this corner available, and I will add a little embellishment stuff maybe here and here. We'll see. We'll start adding some little doodads once I add these pictures down. Can I move my layout? I could. Did I do it the right way? We'll see if I get this lined up right. Put my head in the way. Oh, it's under the chat box. Oh, there we go. If you're not on full screen, if you exit out of full screen, can you move the chat box around? Or I think if you exit out of the full screen, you it's beside your thing. But you can I can move it over. And Kathy says, I moved it to the other side. Okay. So I did put all of these pictures on a little bit of foam tape. I have this giant roll. It kind of costs a fortune, so maybe next time I'll look around to see where I can get one of the giant rolls, but for a better price, because I paid a fortune for that one, but it sure was good. Karen says you can pop it out and even move it onto another monitor if you have one. And I added a second monitor this year. I was really reluctant. My husband brought me some old monitor that we had sitting there in the office. It was not being used. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I used it for a week and I'm like, we need to get me a better monitor. So it was like, and yeah, then you have all this space and it, yeah, it was really fun actually. And I'm not even doing digital scrapbooking. I can't imagine if I was doing digital scrapbooking. Yeah, like I know we got some digigals in the room. And I'm sure they're like all working on top of a monitor. They're like, you guys are missing out. Okay, so that is good. We need some title stuff to happen, and I have doodads, I have letters, I have everything. But Margie says that a second monitor is life-changing, especially for photo editing. And Heather says, it's made my life so much better to have two screens to work on. Diane says, extra monitors are great. I didn't know this was such a big thing. Like, you guys left me hanging for a long time because I didn't know about this two monitor thing. Claire says, I use 2 or 3 monitors at work, and now I use 2 at home. Spoiled. Heather says, I only got my second one this fall. Libby says, except at the lake, she has just her little Surface, and at home, the extra monitor is great. Yeah, like, and I think like when you're on a laptop or you're just on something small, you understand like, oh my gosh, like here I'm dealing with that again. But once you have that extra space and you start using it, yeah, it's pretty great. Enjoy the journey here and there. Okay, here and there. So much to discover. Okay, so this is like leftover bits. Like this is me trying to like really use up the end of a packet. I don't quote me. These might be, and if anybody recognizes, fill me in. I thought they might be from, oh shoot. It's funny. I always stumble over the name of that company. I really love their stuff, but I never order it. But I used to get in packets all the time. So it'll come to me eventually. But I like this. And I think that these little orange pieces will look really good on here. Because there's like yellow in here, but I think that yellow tends towards orange. So much to discover. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In the workplace, that's where things caught on. Yeah. And I think, you know, I like to think that I just roll with it, but I'm hesitant to embrace change, especially when it comes to technology. It's like terrible. Sandy says, can I hook up an extra monitor to my laptop? I just have one. Well, yes, you absolutely can, because that is what I'm using right now. At least I can. It's I have a MacBook, and yep, It works really good. So much to discover. There. Libby says I connect it to my Surface. I'm assuming that's like a name brand of a tablet or something like that, right? Studio Calico. No. So I think it's Pink Fresh. I think these are Pink Fresh. I could be wrong, but I thought they were Pink Fresh. I've told myself that in my head probably a few times. So I guess we'll feel free to correct me if you're like, absolutely not. Those are definitely not that. I would like the idea of using this one, but I'm not seeing an automatic spot for it. Unless I had put a different thing in first. Yeah, okay. So that's good. A few little, I kind of wanted one down here. Oh, if I tuck it, I guess gonna make it a little shorter. Do you know the name of the cord or what it looks like? I would totally pull it out and show you, but I don't know. But it looks kind of weird. It has a shape that is a little different. So well, I can't take the cord and show you right now because that would be quite the kind of funny thing that I would do. I have a piece of paper and I can show you what the end of it looks like. It has a weird kind of shape. So it's like fatter on one side and it looks kind of like this kind of shape. So it's like narrower down at the bottom and wider at the top. And I have another way of showing you. This cord right here is the one, but that's the kind of plug that it has. And it's a HDMI. It says right on it. There you go. Now you know. So Mel says they look like Pink Fresh Studio. Okay, so I'm possibly right there. But they've been in my stash for a while. And you can see I've like almost picked them to the point that if I let them go now, I might be able to do that. Sandy says, okay, thanks. I think I have one of those just sitting. So there you go. See, that worked better. That fit in there better. Okay. So when I ordered my paper, I didn't order any like special embellishments or any of the extra fun things. I don't know if they had it because I actually ordered these from a shop in Calgary. So I was excited to order from the shop and support local businesses that I love so much. But yeah, I didn't get any extra embellishments, so that's why I'm like kind of doing like a create your own kit kind of moment with this stuff. It's gonna be the duck raft, I think. Just double check that I have all the letters. I think I haven't picked this one too much. And Karen says it depends on the output for your laptop. Oh, okay. Hers is different than mine because she's not on an Apple, but there you go. And so there's adapters from HDMI. We're learning all the tech stuff today, guys. We're going to have it all figured out. Do I want this? These aren't going to show up very good on here. Should I have different letters that actually show up? Oh, I think I've got some. Yeah. This kind of, it's a different shade of blue, but it might work. I have some white ones here. We'll use those instead. Oh, what I got here. Ooh, these colors go so good. Look at this. Look at that. Adventure. We're not really adventure. Travel. Together. I could do together. That would be pretty good, actually. Maybe I'll throw that on there too. Okay. Let's set these aside. And I'm still going to write duck raft on it. So, we figured out the technology of the world tonight. So what other problems do we need to solve? Yeah, Claire, that's good advice. She says, take a photo of your laptop ports and the monitor, and then you can match them at the store if you're able to go out to go to stores. Yeah, mine having that little cord thing, I don't know if it went straight. Yeah, it went straight to the monitor. That one did. Am I trying to put too many things in one place? Maybe. What if I do these up here? They'll show up good on here. Sure. Yeah, Sandy says, unfortunately I cannot go up, but I have all types of weird cables around here, so I may have it. The other thing is ordering online. So as long as you can figure out what kind of cables you actually need. Online ordering, hasn't that kind of saved us all through all of this? I know in Canada, sometimes it's a little, you just have to exercise patience, let's just say that. But eventually the stuff seems to show up. And yeah, it's been interesting, and it's amazing what you can order. So my son, during all of this, he had spent a week at my brother's, and it was good for my son and it was good for me because I was kind of just like super annoyed by him by that point. He wasn't picking up after himself. He wasn't doing anything. It was very frustrating. So, and he's a good kid generally, but it was just that little irritation thing. So, rather than fight, he spent a week at my brother's, and that was helpful because my brother had to go to work and he kind of took care of his son, who can't just like hang out by himself all the time. So he spent time there, but then he came back after a week. and, and then when he came back, he's like, Mom, I want to build a VR room. I'm like, what? What's that? Like, so he set up a room in our basement for his virtual reality gaming. Yeah. Oh, that turned out good. Good. Duck raft. And I think I'm going to put that down there. And they've got some other little things on here. Maybe that will be fun. And you sounds very useful to have around, not as a housekeeper. So it was my older son that does the tech stuff, and it was my younger son that was driving me crazy. So, he's a really good kid, but he's used to doing really active things all the time and putting a lot of energy into physical activities. Like, he's the competitive swimmer. So to go from being a competitive swimmer to sitting around at home and not having like gyms to go and work out in and all of that stuff, that was not a great transition in the beginning. Okay. Yes, Bubble Man. That's right. It's totally Bubble Man. That's, that is him. He needed another project, so he ordered up some VR equipment, had to wait forever, and of course, like all the little pieces that he needed came in early, and the one that he really needed was like the actual goggle part. Like he could have made it work if that part had come first, but instead it was like the very last thing to arrive, and it's like, oh, that figures. Was there another word? There's another thing. What? There's not. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Right here or right here? Right here. Okay, I'm calling that done except for journaling. I think that's where she's gonna sit. There, thank you. Claire says, love this layout. It just, put itself together. All the stuff just kind of popped on. But that means right now that we get to do our draw, which I always love doing. And I need to bring up a random number generator. Oh, I gotta open up a new random number generator. And I will pull up our list of participants. It says there are 37 of us. One of them is me. So out of 36 tonight, we will do our draw, and our winner will receive a gift certificate from me for the for scrapbook.com, and you'll get to have a lovely little spending spree and hopefully find some lovely things to help you make your next page. Where are the feathers from? So the feathers were from the paper from this kit. It is from Wild Whisper, and it is the Nicole Wright design. So I was going to see if I can find it underneath this huge pile of stuff here. Let's see if I can find the instruction page. Here we go. This was the instruction page. Did I bring this back? No. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so this was the paper pack that I'm using. One of the papers had the feather on it, and I cut them out. So I used one of the papers as background, and I used one of the papers to cut up to get the feathers. And let's do our draw. Drum roll, please. Dun, 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 dun. And it says 32. So let me scroll down. So 30, 30. 34, 33, 32. Sandy Holterfield, you are our lucky winner today. Congratulations, Sandy. Sandy, can you please send me an email to support@scraphappy.org so I can get you your $25 gift certificate? So that's super fun. I love giving people like fun things and shopping sprees and all the good things. So that is really fun. So there we go. So this is how things have kind of come together so far. I will add my journaling down at the bottom. If I happen to add a few little enamel dots at the end too, I might do that. We'll see. A lot of pages get enamel dots. It's kind of just like that little bit of like frosting at the end, right? You just kind of finish it off with a little bit of that. Congratulations to Sandy. Scrapbook.com is coming out with some really nice new stuff. They have a lot of new products that they're creating in-house now too. And some of them are in storage. They also have some dies. They have some templates, and I've seen a lot of things that they have. So, and if anybody ever wishes to shop, I do have an affiliate link for them. So you can always use my affiliate link, which I'm super grateful when people decide to use. And that one is http:// whatever bit.ly/scrappy shop. That is my affiliate link for scrapbook.com. So if you're like having a little shopping spree and you use it, I really appreciate it. So Sharon says, beautiful layout, Alice. Thank you so much. I am going to look and see because I'm not done playing yet. I don't know if I've got another layout in me or if I just want to sit and make some cards. Let's see what I have on my stack. I don't have a bunch of pictures pre-printed. Apparently banana muffins are something that I make. It's like one of my few things I actually cook. I think I did these pictures already. I thought I did. Okay. So I have this other picture of my son. And yeah, Nicole, I can't get that paper in Australia. So frustrating. I'm so sorry, Claire. There's nobody there that's carrying it. Yeah, Nicole Wright designed it, but it is being sold through Wild Whisper. So Wild Whisper. I know we have Cocoa Vanilla and Coconut Vanilla. We actually pay a good price for that Cocoa Vanilla paper to come from Australia. So I'm sure that would be probably reciprocated sending our stuff there too. But yeah, Wild Whisper Designs. They're based out of Calgary, Alberta, and they worked with Nicole Wright Designs to make this paper pack, which I thought was totally beautiful. It had a lot of beautiful papers, 12 different designs, plus this bonus design here. And yeah, it was called Media Assemblage, which I guess you can see like the different kinds of mixed media styles that she used to bring it all together. Deborah says, I'm going to go look for it. Yeah, check Etsy for the paper, eBay. Sometimes if they have that. Yeah, I don't know. The photo of your son is so good. So my other son took this picture of my son, and that's actually like the ice along the river that he's sitting down by. So I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I thought this would be a really good page. Like, I don't necessarily have a story about this moment because I didn't go take this. This wasn't a moment that was like a special moment, but it would be a really good picture. I know, wearing shorts. I know, I get it. But yeah, it would be a really good moment for me to use to kind of tell stories that I have to tell about our time together, sometimes the really good times that we have together, sometimes the frustrations that we might have together. Like, he's a good kid, but sometimes, sometimes he's a 19-year-old boy, let's just say. Like, sometimes video games are more important than, emptying the dishwasher. Or putting your dishes away. I don't know. It's like the dumb things, right? And it's only because we've hung out so much that like those silly things are starting to get on my nerves. So for a page like this, I will need a fair amount of white space or room where I could actually tell some story. So that's what I'm kind of looking for here. Yeah, a good photo for reflection, says Gail. And yeah, 19-year-old girl or boy? I had the girls, I'll take the boys, says Diane. My older son came with so much drama when he was younger. I am so glad he is good now. It's like the drama when he was younger, I tell you. And my younger son, really, there's never been drama. He just does his swimming and stuff. So right now, like, I get it. His life is in topsy-turvy. He can't go off and do the things he was supposed to do. And I feel bad, but we're all doing it. So I don't feel that bad. So I'm looking at the papers and I'm thinking that this paper here with the drips, that kind of almost helps to kind kind of talk about like this drippy, crazy. This is the one that reminds you of the 23andMe. Okay, I'm totally gonna have to look at that. That's hilarious. Well, I think that is going to be the paper that I will use to tell some kind of story. So I kind of wanted to put this picture up here, but I don't really want to cover the drips, but I might. It's not covering too many. I think that'll be okay. Okay. Girls try anything. They eat better. Men, not so much. My son, okay, so literally, he went off to school the year before, went off to university. His first time being by himself. He was actually living in residence. He had his like food plan to go and buy the food from the cafeteria kind of place. Like, it wasn't the ideal thing. There was also a kitchen where he could go cook his own food. He had a fridge that it was only shared with his roommate, so it was fine. Should have been okay. He lost 30 pounds. I'm not even kidding. 30 pounds at school. I'm like, so yeah, we dropped you off and you didn't eat at all? Like, what's the deal? Like, yeah. Admittedly, like, he'd been doing this weight training before he went, and he was like, bulked up bigger than he needed to be at the time, but still, like, 15 pounds would have been fine. 30 was a lot. I'm like, dude, that is not coping well. My son started working out his senior year, and poof, I should try some fruit and veggies. Really, better late than never. I was and am a picky eater, so I get it. 30 pounds was a lot. Yeah, there's certain things that I don't like, but overall, I'm generally fond of food. We seem to be good friends. Okay, so I want to mat this picture, I think, a little bit to kind of have it stick out off of this. And I thought this paper, well, this color isn't directly in this, it's kind of a little bit. I think it would make a really good mat for this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll keep all of these little strips because like these little strips together would make a really cool embellishment on a page. Yeah. I love one food group a lot. It's called Junk. Yeah. And let's see. Marcia says, my husband will eat almost anything, as will my older two sons. My third son, world's pickiest and like weird picky, even at 29 years old. Number 4 used to be picky, but he's getting older. Yeah, it's so funny. Okay, so tell me in the comments if you have like a thing that you're like, nope, just not going there. What is your like, no way on the food thing? Because there's a few things on my no way for the food thing, but onions and me have had a lifetime battle. I just don't like onions. What? Bacon? Bacon. I see 2 people say bacon. What? Bananas is oh, I love bananas and bacon. Actually, both of those together sounds good. I think that's a liver, organ meats, tongue. Yeah, I'm with you, Diane. Liver, says Nadine. Yep. Brielle says, I was such a picky eater as a child, like a metal divided plate where nothing can touch picky. Now I eat almost everything. I would have loved if I could get away with having my food actually divided on a plate as a kid. Like, I purposely kept everything totally separate. So I feel you there. Marcia says, canned beets. Not going there. Yeah. Oyster, liver's the worst. Watermelon, it's a texture thing. Brussels sprouts. I love all these things, guys. Except for those onions and liver things. Oh, Francis says, I have IBS, so the list of no's is way longer than the yeses. Yeah, that's not your choice, right? Like, that's a thing that you have to deal with. It's not like the things. Beets, really, I love beets. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, like my youngest son, when he was little, would eat everything. So this is Ryan, he's my youngest, and he would eat everything when he was little. Like there wasn't food that he did not eat, just everything. Didn't matter. He loved them. He loved it. Then he turned 5, and then he didn't eat foods that were like mixed together. So individual components were fine, but mixed together things, no. It was so inconvenient because my number one way to make supper was like, I did a lot of casseroles back in the day. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, I don't know how to cook anymore. Oh, well, I didn't leave as much color showing here as I thought I was going to, but looks like I've cut it, so now we're keeping it. Yeah, no mixing of food. Yeah. Oh, did you say, yeah, support at scraphappy.org. So that is where you send. And congratulations, Sandy. So, I usually write this down to you so that I have that. Okay. And so that way, if I don't see it, but support at scraphappy.org, make sure it's .org. And yeah, Marcia says I eat fresh raw beets on a salad or something like that, but because the pieces are small. Yeah. Oh, Catherine says I don't like mushrooms. Yeah. It's so funny. Has anyone ever had beet soap? Like soap? Like an actual soap? Or like, do you mean soup? Like, it's like soup. Okay. Yeah. Love it. Borscht. So good. Something I make really well is actually soup. I can do soup. It's one of my favorite foods. And so you go from woman who absolutely loves soup to a kid that doesn't want to eat food that when it's mixed together, it's like, oh, super painful. But he's pretty good now. He doesn't eat bacon though. Doesn't eat bacon, doesn't eat ham, doesn't like pork chops. He's just really not fond of most pork products. He'll eat sausages though. I guess that's different. Cool. So this is going to go here. Jacqueline says she has to run. Good night. Good day, everyone. That was for you, Claire. Awesome. Yeah, no, I been really good. So yes, things that are going on that I've meant to talk about before I forget. So this scrap the next load challenge, it's a mini load. So mini loads are totally different. It's a whole new game when we do a mini load. We have a different approach. It's a little more relaxed, it's a little more laid back because it's only a week, right? So we are having Scrap the Rainbow is our topic for this one. And we're going to go here. So this is scraphappy.org/load, and this is where it's going to open probably over the weekend. Scrap the Rainbow. It's the Layout a Day challenge. It's going to be inspired by the rainbow. So we are going to take you right through the rainbow and give you the whole mini version of a load. So what do we do different? Normally with load, we have a full month of scrapbooking, which can be a lot, but having a mini 1 week version gives us like a little taster. It's like a little sampler of a load challenge. So if you're like, have you always thought, a month of scrapbooking, Alice, you're crazy. I've been told that before. then this is a great way to try it out, see what you think. Personally, what I love about load are the pages that I make during a load. They're different than the pages that I make otherwise. So this is actually what I'm going to try and recreate with this page here. Is I'm going to try to use a style of load. I actually have a list of prompts that I didn't get to use from the last one, so I'm going to pull one of those prompts and tell a story that's related to that. So the prompts every day, we have a story prompt and a technique prompt. And so the prompts will kind of inspire you to tell a certain story, or they'll inspire you to use either certain types of products, a certain technique, possibly certain colors. And, those kind of can get you scrapbooking for the day. But the point of load is actually to scrapbook a layout a day. So you don't actually have to use the prompts. We have some people that are always using the challenges just to create pages, to kind of have that accountability to create pages that maybe you have a project that you've been like, oh, I really wanted to get that done, but it's not done yet. Then load is a really good time to do that. During February, we get a lot of gals that are working on their December dailies. Sometimes it's travel books. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're working on, you can usually fit it into the challenge. And if you can't fit it into the challenge, you don't want to use the prompts, that's fine too. Sometimes it's just the accountability. Mini loads are only $15, but they're also included for Scrap Heavy members. So just putting that out, Scrap Heavy members, you don't have to register. It's a load. Even if it's a mini load, it still counts. So it's part of your membership. So yeah, that is coming up, and it will start July 13th. Technically, they come out like a few hours before, so technically the night of the 12th if you're in North America, and then we'll scrapbook for 1 week. So that is what's happening. Sandy says, I love load for the purpose of just getting things done. I use the prompts sometimes, but more often than that, I just need the accountability. I totally get it. I am that person. It's like, I have a deadline. I have to get this done by this time. Because it's a mini load, because it's a 1 week challenge, we don't actually have finishers prizes for a mini load, but it is still a good chance. Sometimes a few prizes sneak in there from other things, but it's not a prize heavy load. It is just a chance to kind of come together with some great prompts. I started this a few years ago, the mini loads, because I just felt it was too long between May and October when our next load is. I'm like, that's a really long time. And I just feel we need something, but wait a minute, that's the middle of summer for many of us. Maybe not Claire, but it's the middle of summer for many of us. And so our kids are at a school and our lives usually look a little different. But yeah, it just, so we started the first one as a summer, it was summer themed actually, and that was fun. We've also had a now and then theme. We've had a space theme. We've had a few good ones and this year. So is the mini load available to non-members? Yes, $15 just to do the mini load challenge. And that's kind of on par with the regular challenge. It's usually about $2 a day. So that is what's going on, and it'll come out, at the end of this weekend. I'm just excited because I was ready to do a little bit more scrapbooking again. Like getting into this tonight, I'm like, I got itchy fingers. Sandy says, I don't know if I've ever done a mini. This year I will. Yay! Yay, that's so fun. I think it's fun to I think it was a really good balance. I kind of really contemplated really hard before I had introduced the first mini one. I'm like, ooh, is this like a really good idea? Like load is such a beautiful challenge in the way it is. I love the way it works. Like I didn't invent it, but I think it's brilliant. But I love it so much. And I was really scared of like ruining the things that make load work. But I think the minis have been a really good compromise and a really good way to kind of test it out and get a little bit of scrapbooking done in the summer, even though it's not my best time. So question, when do you do the most of your scrapbooking? Do you do more like in a certain time of year? Do challenges like February, May, and October? That's like my nails nodding. I'm like, that's my time. And so Heather says she does more of her scrapbooking in summertime. And for me, like summertime is way harder. Claire says through load. That's when she does most of hers. Sandy says it's surprising that you can actually scrapbook a page a day. But even if I don't, I still have way more pages done than I would have. That's totally my experience. I'm like, the first time I signed up for a load challenge with Lane, I was just like, wow, I can't scrapbook every day, but even if I did some, I'll be doing better. So like I totally didn't expect to actually even do it. Like it was like I was so far removed from the idea of being able to do that much scrapbooking. And then I did it. And I was like, wow, it was amazing. And Marcia said, that's me, February, May, and October. So there we go. We got some loadsters in the house. That's awesome. Yeah, so that is coming up. I can't believe like the 13th of July. That is like that's just over 2 weeks. Can't believe it. So that's gonna be amazing. Super fun. Just like a little mini, like I love it's like a taster. Yeah, loads wear you out. You need a recovery period. I know. I made one layout in April and usually March is not a lot better after like the months after load are usually my like lowest outputs of the whole year. I paid for 2 retreats and then COVID happened. Both postponed until next year. I think I need to load. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun thing. I can tell you, I can't tell you the topic yet, but I can tell you that Deetra and I have been planning the one for October already, and I'm so excited about it. Like, it's a fun topic. I think that it's a kind of a cozier topic than some of the ones that we've had, and I think that it'll be a really good thing for us to dive into for the fall. So one of the great things about doing the load challenge is that I like to kind of make it a little bit fun. So as we talk about our prompt for the day, we don't just say, oh, hey, today is based on this. Here's your prompt. I kind of like to give you a little backstory, a little bit of, information about the topic. I think it's like that part of me that wanted to be a librarian or something that's coming out because it's like research mode. And we end up, kind of really exploring the topic. So in May, we did one based about the Beatles. It was Abbey Load instead of Abbey Road. And we kind of talked every day a little bit about either the songs or the Beatles or Beatlemania or like just kind of a really, and Marcia says, your loads are very educational. Actually, okay, so confession, I was going to be a teacher. Like I did 2 years of university, 3 years of university, and I was going to be a teacher. I'm not a teacher, but to that it comes out in you somewhere, right? Diane says, cozier. Sounds interesting. I haven't made a page since the May load. We'll try to accomplish some next week. Yeah, that was like Scrapbook Live. It's a good way to say, I got a page done this month. That's why I love it. So that's been really good. Awesome. So does anybody have any show and tell? This is like the time that I should like bring this up. If anybody has any show and tell, you can either press the button to raise your hand. That's a thing. And then I'll be able to bring you up onto the screen and you can either show it, or if you are doing digital stuff, we can screen share. So yeah, we can do that too. It should let you screen share. I think I've got that all selected and set up properly so it can screen share. We did have an issue with it once, but I think we fixed it. So yeah, Diane says it does kind of wear you out. Yeah. The whole month, like it's a lot. You get to the end, but at the end, you're always like so proud. And like, I'll confess, like I didn't finish May It's one of my better Mays, actually, because usually I'm coaching swimming during May and I really don't get it all done. But it was one of my better ones. I did like 24 or 25 pages out of the 31. So, even I don't get it all done sometimes. But yeah, I was so proud of the pages that I made. It's the stories that I tell. And so I try to do the prompts as much as possible because I find that I love the pages I make more during a load. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is that. I don't see anybody telling me that they're dying to show and tell. Do we have somebody? You can put your hand up. You could I'll here if I do this now I'll be able to see if anybody has their hand up. Wave at me and say I have something to show. You could like wave your project around, or you can put your virtual hand up and then I can put you on screen. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. No pressure. It's all good. So I am gonna leave this page because I need to look back at my prompts and see. I know. I didn't want to like copyright infringe anything there, but Monica says, I am falling asleep, going to bed. Have a good weekend. Yeah, I think it's probably 10 o'clock for you. I know these start a little bit later when you're in the East. And that's why we start as early as we do, so that it's still gonna be okay. Yeah, dinner's almost ready, but no scrapbooking, says Brielle. That's okay. Okay, well, I am going to wrap this up right here. Thank you so much for joining me for this. This has just been such a joy. It always makes me so happy, and to see like all of my online friends or my new online friends, to see some of the gals that I got to hang out with so much during our Happy at Home series on YouTube. I have been really, really missing that. Yeah, thank you. These pages have turned out, they're super fun. So where did I put it? I put it somewhere. I buried it when I was digging for my next paper. That's hilarious. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this was my first page. This was the one that I made today. It is my duck raft page. I'm very happy. I love the painted feather effects and the cool drippy background paper. It looks like I did fun mixed media and I didn't have to get my fingers mucky. And that was with this fun paper from Wild Whisper. And I've got the starts of my next page. And I've left there's lots of space here for me to tell some really good stories because I really need a page like that again. So thank you, says Gail. I love that series. I didn't get my scrapbooking done tonight, but I enjoyed being together. Thank you. That was me too. I really loved it. Thank you. And thank you so much. If you are catching the replay, you can pop over and check to see if load has opened. If you want to join us for the mini load, that will be at scraphappy.org/load, and the registration will be opening this weekend. Like I said, it's just $15 and 1 week of really fun scrapbooking inspired by the rainbow. We're literally gonna scrap the rainbow, and I'm like, I'll probably be munching some Skittles and tasting the rainbow too while I'm at it, because I can't stop thinking about that too. So super funny the way those slogans kind of get in your head, hey? Anyways, thanks so much, everyone. I've really enjoyed spending time with you. If you'd like to join the next Scrapbook Live, you just got to make sure that you are on the email list. You can pop over to scraphappy.org/subscribe, and that is where you will find the email thing to sign up and get on the list. If you're here already, that means that you're probably on that list, or you're one of my Scrap Happy members, and I send you a special invite. So thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to tell you about the other fun things we have in store. There's a lot. I'm like, I can't believe I haven't spilled the beans tonight, so it's coming. I will tell you as soon as I can, but so good. So good. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. I'll leave you with that teaser, but it's coming soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.